to have the privilege of having the job of making the roads safe. That's rewarding for me. Getting through a storm and seeing the final product of what you've done. It's something I take pride in, and because of it being a challenge, it's something I enjoy doing.
Sure works. Hi, I'm Jimmy Lee Holden. I'm a candidate for sheriff here in Geauga County. I want to thank you for coming out tonight and participating in this event to get to know your candidates. I live in Newberry with my lovely wife Donna. She's a 21-year veteran of law enforcement and a former veteran of the military. We have 5 children, 3 teenagers who live at home with us and keep us very busy. Our 2 adults are college graduates and are thriving in their respective fields. I started my law enforcement career in 1981. I'm currently in my 39th year of law enforcement. I retired in 2018 from full-time service from the city of University Heights, where I retired as a civil service lieutenant. I have a Bachelor of Science degree in Government Public Administration through Liberty University. I have over 1,500 hours of cumulative law enforcement training over my career. I am currently an Ohio Peace Officer Training Academy certified instructor for basic police academies. I teach for the Cleveland Heights Police Academy, and I have taught in Tri-C's Basic Police Academy and Ranger Academies. I am a life member of the Ohio Gun Collectors Association and a benefactor life member of the National Rifle Association. And I'm proud to say that because of my firearms background, I am a strong supporter of the Second Amendment. And I have been endorsed by Sheriff Mack of the Constitutional Sheriffs and Peace Officers Association. I've also been endorsed by the Ohio Gun Collectors Association, as well as Freedom for All PAC and Geauga Right to Life. Thank you, Pastor Sanders. Throughout my law enforcement career, I've served in many capacities. I spent 12 years on a SWAT team, 10 of those as a team leader. I was a road supervisor for 15 years and an administrator for 3. When I started this endeavor back in March, there was 3 things that people came to me with concerns of. First one was of our gun rights. Yes, I support your gun rights, okay? I do not believe in anything that violates our Second Amendment. The second one is that of drugs, all right? Now, I'm also on the board of mental health and recovery services, and we have taken some great strides in providing recovery services for addicts, all right? But on the law enforcement aspect, I don't think we're doing enough to chase down the drug dealers and those that are manufacturing illegal narcotics here in our county. Now, and we're not part of any drug task force here. We're the only county in northeastern Ohio that does not have a drug task force, and that bothers me, all right? Third thing is community engagement, all right? I've been asked, you know, how come the Sheriff's Department's not out actively engaging with the community? Everybody remembers Sheriff McClellan and his little dog. But there's been a strong disconnect from the Sheriff's Department since he has retired. And I want to bring that back by having community forums and actually getting out and talking to people and letting them have access to me as your county sheriff. All right. I also believe that we have some improvements to make in our jail to make it more efficient and bring in more money for our county. All right? I'm Jimmy Lee Holden, and I'm looking for your vote on March 17th. I got done before she stood up.
I know. Okay. Any questions?
Hi, Jimmy. Are you familiar with the Senate bill that they're trying to pass in the Ohio Senate right now? Mike DeWine is A-OK with it for the red flag gun laws?
Oh, I don't like red flag gun laws if they violate our constitutional rights. And I haven't read one yet that really provides due process. So no, I'm not a big fan of it.
My second question is, are you in connection with this program that President Trump is you may have seen him in Vegas in the last week. He's into redemption for people that are in our prison system and working toward, getting people vocational work and really changing their lives and providing housing and all the things that they need to really get back out and become a productive citizen. So are you familiar with his program and what they're doing now?
I'm not familiar with his program, but I can tell you that when I left full-time service, I was jail administrator for our city, and I was part of the North Coast Jail Administrators Association. And I know Geauga County at the time was developing programs that in their county jail, they could provide training for culinary arts. They were trying to get welding programs together. They were trying to re-educate and retrain the individuals that were in there, if they wanted to, okay, even work for their GEDs, so that they could come out and be a productive member of society. And yes, I am for that. You know, putting somebody in jail and taking away their liberties to punish them for a criminal act is great, but if we don't help them achieve some sort of sense of pride and give them a trade when they come back out, then what's going to happen to them? They go right back into, you know, whatever course of action caused them to go in there. And I would like to see more of that in our departments across the state, you know, helping those that are in there. A lot of those folks aren't bad people, they just took a wrong turn, right? So if we can help them so that when they pay their debt to society, they can come out and be a productive member of society, they can also, you know, put money back into our economy.
Time for one more question. Is there another question? Okay. Yes, sir. Please stand up if you can't. Well, if you just speak loud so everybody in the back can hear you.
What about protection for our schools and churches? We did have a class that the deputies came to our church and, you know, gave us some idea of what, you know, they have done. But I don't think that, you know, it was going to work with some of the ideas that they had, because you can't duck and, you know, get out of the way of somebody shooting.
Well, my background predominantly is in training. I was a staff trainer at my agency. I've been training in the basic police academies. In 2002, I started my own training company where we provided judgmental training to law enforcement agencies all over Northern Ohio. I've trained thousands of police officers in my career. And when it comes to schools and churches, I would love to sit down with the church elders or with school administrators and work out solvable problems, right? Solve their problems, talk to them about them being soft targets, what we can do to harden them up, and provide whatever kind of guidance we can to get you the training you need to protect your religious institutions and our schools. One thing I would like to see more of is I want to put deputies, as they're out there on the road, I want to see them stopping by our local schools and visiting with our children. Because I think it's important that our children see deputies walking through and getting to know them. When I started in law enforcement, we didn't have the computers in the cars and all the fancy radios, and we were able to get out and walk around on the playgrounds and talk with the children, and they got to know us, and we knew everything that was going on. And as, you know, time changed, you got your fancy cars and all the computers, you know, times changed, and guys weren't leaving their cars, and we had a strong disconnect with our community. I want to put deputies in the schools during lunches and recesses so that they can, you know, get to know the children. And I want to, as sheriff, come around to your local religious institutions and sit in on them with you on occasion and talk to you and share your thoughts with you. That's it.
That's all you get, right? Scott, right there. Scott, you have 1 minute for either a question or comments.
I'm going to make a comment, and I probably can't cover all of that in 1 minute, but
That's all you get.
I'm going to tell you that we already do the training for the inmates in the jail. We have a full-time employee that's paid by Family First that comes in there and helps these people get jobs when they get out. We provide training to probably 30 or 40 different private businesses and churches and public buildings for safety. Our program with the church is just starting out, and it's designed that if your church wants to allow you to carry a weapon during church, that we want to be able to help you with that and train you on that. And because what we saw with that church shooting in Texas is that shooting was over with before you could even dial 911, let alone get somebody to answer you and to get somebody to respond. But the first guy that was approached wasn't able to unholster his weapon fast enough and he ended up unfortunately getting killed. So what we said was, the churches, if you want to allow your people, you pick the people, the pastor, the priest, whoever picks the people they want, and then we will give them additional training for that safety in the church.
Thank you. 1 minute for question.
I have one thing to say, we're running ahead of schedule, and we've got a couple people coming from the Portage County Tea Party, that are
Okay.
gonna be here later.
Okay,
So if they've got extra questions for these guys, I think, we
Okay,
can
so if they
accommodate them, and Matt Rambo is not here tonight either, so.
is there a surrogate for Matt? By any chance, is there a surrogate here tonight for Matt,
To represent Matt,
to represent Matt?
he apparently had
There's
another work
venue.
conflict.
Okay, so did you have a particular question?
I have a question for Jimmy Lee.
I'm sorry?
I have a question for Jimmy Lee.
All right, you hold that, and I'm going to get the question. So Scott, we'll see if there's additional questions for you as well, so.
The question that I have is, you said that you have worked in University Heights, but it doesn't sound like you've actually overseen a county operation. Do you have any experience with fiscal operations as it relates to running a county office?
The only county experience I have is when I worked for Stark County as a reserve deputy. I don't have anything as big as working for the county, but I did work on multi-jurisdictional teams when I was with the city of University Heights.
Okay. Anybody else?
One.
Boy, I tell you, one thing that really gets me about politics is nobody ever talks about the elephant in the room. And I would like to address the gun control issue. Why do we need gun control? Why don't we have firearms training? Why aren't we like Switzerland? We need some free training for everybody in the county to learn how to use their weapon properly. What do you say about that?
What do I say about that? All right, well, let's talk about common sense gun control. Is there such a thing? No, there's not. I don't believe in gun control. My family's owned a gun shop since the mid-'60s. I'm a federally licensed firearms dealer, okay? And I don't like gun control of any sort. And I believe you are correct. We need more training. The problem that you have, and I think our sheriff can probably agree with me on this point, is the liability of the sheriff department themselves probably providing you with training. But there's many instructors that we can, put you in contact with, and we can even host the training, but I think that liability, maybe we don't want to actually do it ourselves. I would be happy to, but I would have to check with the insurance company for the county and talk to, the county prosecutor to make sure that they would be okay for the sheriff's department to actually provide free firearms training. But yes, I like the way you're thinking. I think that should be done on a national level, but that's just me. All right? And I don't think that...
What do you want?
She said I could talk. All right. Would you like to expound on it?
Thank you.
I have to agree. I have to agree but the latest movement was to even do away with the training for your CCW permit. And I was not in favor of that. I don't think that was overly hard on somebody to be able to go to class and become certified, and I think you really should. So it's very difficult when there's a movement to do away with training, and we want to bring it back to everybody. And I think that any one of us would be more than willing to help you out with that, or help anybody out with that, especially if there was a group of people that needed that or wanted that training and just didn't feel comfortable. I really don't think the CCW class is long enough, because some of the people that come out of there aren't really feeling that comfortable with that weapon. And I think they're afraid to say anything at the end. If they wanted more help, I'm sure that any of the instructors would help them.
Great. Any additional questions? Okay. Where did we leave off on the question rebuttal?
Sorry.
You guys guys are too much fun. All right, what do you get, question or rebuttal? It's on.
I have a question.
Okay.
I have a question. Yes, we're doing a lot with the drug epidemic as far as, Narcan, and we don't have as many deaths as we used to. And with the drug court, we're getting those people that are addicts the help that they have. But can you explain to us, because I'm really curious as to why we don't have a drug task force in Geauga County?
Part of the reason was that not all the police departments could commit the people to that task force. Several years ago, the commissioners gave us extra money to boost our narcotics unit, and which we did by 4 members. We are actually partners with Lake County in their drug task force. They don't work together as much as I'd like to see, because the problem with Lake County is they have like 2 different counties up there. They got the western end and the eastern end, and they don't always work that well together. But we do work at a part-time basis with any police department in the county. Anybody that we've worked with Bainbridge many times, because they have a problem down there by their storefronts, and we can go down there in a parking lot and make arrests. They just don't have the people to commit on a full-time basis to that task force. We had a task force with Trumbull County. The problem was Trumbull County was making all the arrests. They were doing all the drug work, and Trumbull County wasn't helping us at all. So we eventually pulled out of that because we wanted to concentrate on Geauga County. That's what we cared about. And once we got Geauga County cleaned up a lot, we find that drug dealers don't want to come to Geauga County anymore because they know that we're aggressive out here. They try to get them to come out, and they don't even want to come out. They want to make the deal in other counties. But, so we're not opposed to working with anybody, and we will work with any police department that's willing to commit, but it's a financial issue when you're going to take a guy from a small police department and commit them to a drug task force 24 hours a day or 7 days a week, and they just can't do it.
Great, thank you. Thank you both.